This flight will be a short domestic flight. I'll be flying from Brisbane, Australia, all the way to Sydney, Australia. I'll be flying the Airbus A320neo for this flight. Total flight time should take around 1 hour to an hour and a half of flight time, and I'll be cruising around 21,000 feet for this short flight from Brisbane to Sydney. Engine covers have been removed, wheel chocks removed, static covers removed. Let's hop inside, get the flight plan set up, get passengers on board, luggage on board, and make the short flight from Brisbane to Sydney. Right now we're currently here parked at a gate here in Brisbane International. So let's hop back inside and get the pre-flight started. Let's turn on the batteries. External power. Starting APU. Emergency exit lights to arm. No smoking to on. Seatbelt sign to auto. Strobe lights to auto. Resupply oxygen. That to on. Changing the aiders all to nav. Go to payload, passenger count, cargo, and fuel, apply load, go fast, wait for the ILS to align. While we do that, set up our EFB flight plan. Cruising at 21,000 feet. It's a short flight from Brisbane to Sydney, about an hour to an hour and a half. And I completely forgot the airport code for Brisbane, so I had to look that up real quick. Alright, Brisbane is YBBN. We'll be taking off this runway over here. Which is 19 right. Doing the YBBN4 departure. And arriving in Sydney, which is YSSY. Let's roll down to Sydney. Again, it's a very short flight, about an hour and a half. Might be even shorter than that, might even be like probably a 45-minute flight. And we will be landing in Sydney. Let me see here. Familiar with the runway setup. I've flown to Sydney many times, but I'm just not sure which runway I need. We're landing on runway 25, as you know. Not 25. be landing on runway 16 left. Send the ATC. Let's go and get clearance.
Brisbane clearance delivery. Qantas 18 IFR to Sydney. Ready to copy.
Qantas 18 is cleared to Sydney Airport via the YBBN for departure. Runway 19 right. Climb via Sid maintain 6000, expect flight level 21010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 133.45. Squawk 4276.
Clear to Sydney via the YBBN for departure. Runway 19 right. Climb via Sid maintain 6000, expect flight level 21010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 133.45. Squawk 4276. Qantas 18.
Qantas 18. Readback is correct. Contact ground on 122.25 when ready to taxi. Good day.
I got IFR clearance instead of our EFB or FMGC down here. We're flying from Brisbane. Again is YBBN. And arriving at Sydney, which is YSSY. Flight number is Qantas 18. See you at let's put in. Again, put Qantas in. I was losing the key. Where is the key? There it is. Qantas 18. Cruising at 21,000 feet. Zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight CG, both entered. Lock fuel entered. Alright, go and start the boarding.
Brisbane ground. Qantas 18. Could you please get the passengers on board?
Qantas 18. The jetway is going to be connected.
Alright. Alright, what I'm going to do, I'm going to
Brisbane
disconnect
ground.
the
Qantas 18. I am done with the boarding.
jetway. And I'm just going to call in a ramp. I'm going to request some stairs. Stairs moving in place. Can open the door. They're trying to get themselves aligned. Someone calling the baggage service.
Brisbane ground. Qantas 18. Could you please send a baggage?
Qantas 18. Baggage is on
Flight
the way.
plan. Brisbane departure. Departing out of Brisbane on 19 right. Using the YBBN for departure. Click destination, Sydney. Arrival. Scroll down all the way to Sydney. ILS 16 left. And we'll probably go and change the arrival procedure. Do the 44A arrival. Insert. Clear out that manual. Up the flight discontinuity. Already cleared itself out. There's a discontinuity, you're gonna clear that. Clear out the manual. Clear the flight discontinuity. Alright, flight plan is all set up. Let's check the flight plan. Flight plan looks good. Progress. One, 6, check left. Alright, secondary flight plan. Copy active. Our takeoff speeds for 19 right. Via flap 2 takeoff. Center flex is 48. Thank you for tuning in and watching. We're just putting it in the V speed for takeoff. Fly from Brisbane to Sydney. Flex is 48. Flaps 2. B1 151. PR is 151. And B2 is 154. The trans out of Brisbane. Zoom in, it's going to be 10,000, which that's already set. Let's go and confirm takeoff data. That warning. Again, I'm flying the Airbus A320 for this flight. And this is a short flight from Brisbane to Sydney. About an hour to an hour and a half. Or it could be shorter than that, it could be more like 45 to 50 minute flights. Alright, starting APU bleed. Fuel pumps. On. Beacon light on. TCAS mode to TARA. TCAS mode to all. TCAS traffic, set that to all. Squawk code is 4276. Alright, I am done with the boarding, so door is closing. Alright, stairs are moving out of the way. Alright, parking brake released. Requesting pushback.
Brisbane ground, Qantas 18, requesting pushback.
Qantas 18. Pushback request accepted.
Alright, engine mode to ignition start. Map mode back to ARC. Alright, pushback has begun. Alright, engine 1, set to on. Engine 1 is powering up.
Brisbane ground, Qantas 18, requesting the end of pushback.
Qantas 18. Request to end pushback received.
Alright, parking brake set.
Brisbane ground, Qantas 18 with Alpha, ready to taxi IFR.
Watching the number 1 engine.
Qantas 18. Taxi 2
Power
and
up.
hold short of runway 19 right via taxiway Charlie Whiskey Whiskey 2 Yankee Yankee Tree Zulu Sierra Sierra 2 Sierra 1 Tango 1. Contact tower on
Engine
120.5
starting
when
up.
ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 19 right, using taxiway Charlie Whiskey Whiskey 2 Yankee Yankee Tree, Zulu Sierra Sierra 2 Sierra 1 Tango 1.
Engine 2 is starting up. A lot of Qantas flights coming in. A Cathay Pacific. Once it reaches 71.4, both engines will be fully started. Gallon 6,000. 154. 254 at the speed. And this is a short flight from Brisbane to Sydney. R gauge, Flight vector on. Altitude constraints on. Weather, radar turned on. All weather. Alright, both engines fully started. Auto brake set to max. Flight controls. Alright, right and left, tail's working. Up, down, right, left. Alright, speed brake armed. Flaps 2. Engine to normal. Master switch off. AP bleed off. Exit lights on. Everything is set. Flaps are set. Brakes on. Brake release. Way to 19 right. Depart out of Brisbane and make our way to Sydney. Now on our way to Sydney, on our descent, we might pass over the Sydney Opera House. We might, that's not always a guarantee. A lot of Qantas flights coming in. There's a New Zealand plane. Making our way to 19 right. Also have the Bravo Aerospace's air traffic global add-on pack added. That's why you're seeing all the Qantas airlines, because it adds real-world liveries to the AI or static aircraft, which makes the world seem a bit more alive. If you want some more realism, look up Bravo Aerospace. More power going. There, bit of a taxi. To our runway. Actually, not going too fast. This flight should take us directly over the Sydney Opera House on our way down. Australia recently had a world update recently, which they updated a lot of the photogeometry of the area. Departing 19 right, departing out of Brisbane, flying non-stop to Sydney. Flying the Airbus A320 for this flight. I'll be cruising at 21,000 feet.
Brisbane Tower. Qantas 18 at runway 19 or right, ready for departure. IFR to Sydney.
Qantas 18, QNH 1020. Cleared for takeoff runway 19 or right.
Clear for takeoff runway 19 or right. Qantas 18.
Qantas 18 contact Brisbane departure on 133.45. Good day. Qantas 18, acknowledge last transmission.
Qantas 18. Brisbane departure. Qantas 18 is at 2,100 climbing 6,000.
Qantas 18, climb and maintain 9,000. Expect flight level 210.
Climb and maintain 9,000. Expect flight level 210. Qantas 18.
Qantas 18, climb and maintain flight level 210.
Climb and maintain flight level 210. Qantas 18.
Qantas 18, contact Brisbane Centre on 119.8. Good day.
119.8 for Qantas 18. Brisbane Centre. Qantas 18 is passing 8,800 climbing flight level 210.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Centre, QNH 1020. Radar contact. Continue to Bowrey. Qantas 18 contact Brisbane Centre on 121.2. Good day.
121.2 for Qantas 18.
Alright, we just departed out of Brisbane. Past 10,000 feet, come to 21,000 feet. Once we're at 21,000 feet, our landing lights turned off. We're past 10,000.
Brisbane Centre, QNH 1020. Radar contact. Continue to Bowrey.
Once we're at 21,000 feet, I will enter in descent information for Sydney. We'll be landing on 16 left, landing in Sydney, and this descent should take us over the Sydney Opera House. Maybe, maybe not. If it does, that's great. Right now we're currently coming to 21,000 feet. I'm going to step away for a few moments. I'll be back to update us on the flight as it progresses. Again, this is a short flight from Brisbane to Sydney. Let me find the Airbus A320neo for this flight. Total flight time should take around maybe an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. Once we're at 21,000 feet, I'll enter in the descent information, so that's already put in. and I'll see everyone soon as we begin our descent soon into Sydney.
Qantas 1A, contact Brisbane Centre on 130.4. Good day.
130.4 for Qantas 18. Brisbane Centre. Qantas 18 is passing flight level 190, climbing flight level 210.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Centre. Radar contact, continue to Bullry. 18 contact Brisbane Center on 120 decimal tree. Good day.
120 decimal tree for Qantas 18. Brisbane Center, Qantas 18, flight level 210.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Centre. Radar contact. Continue to boring.
Sydney. Just departed out of Brisbane maybe around
Qantas 18.
10 minutes
you
ago.
are 1,200 above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 210.
And going to put in the second information for Sydney. My radio
Descend and
callouts
maintain
will be
flight level
200
210.
feet.
Qantas 18.
Jetstar 499er. Climb and maintain 4,700.
They're flying the Airbus A320neo. This is a short flight from Brisbane to Sydney.
Climb and maintain 4,700. Jetstar
Should be completed
499er.
in about maybe an hour and a half. We should be landing very soon. back to 21,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 2,000.
Off. Alright, dial in 4,000.
Climb and maintain 2,000.
Set.
Jetstar
Once the top
49er.
of the descent has been reached, we'll descend down to 4,000.
Jetstar
All the way to the
499er.
waypoint
Climb
of
and maintain
Tunex.
4,600.
Then descend to 1,700 against the glide slope. Land on runway 16 left into Sydney.
Jetstar 499er.
And we should see the Sydney Opera House on our way down. Hope you enjoyed the flight. Should be reaching our top of the descent in the next, I'd say, 40 to 45 minutes. Now we'll check back soon once we reach our top of descent.
Qantas 18 contact Brisbane Centre on 122.6. Good day.
122.6. Qantas 18. Brisbane Centre, Qantas 18. Flight level 210.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Centre. Radar contact. Continue to boarding.
Qantas 18 contact Brisbane Centre on 134.2. Good day.
Brisbane Centre, Qantas 18, flight level 210.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Centre, radar contact. Continue to Bori. Qantas 18 contact Brisbane Centre on 127.2. Good day.
127.2. Qantas 18. Brisbane Centre, Qantas 18, flight level 210.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Centre. Radar contact, continue to Bori. 1-8, contact Brisbane Center on 125.75. Good day.
Going to 125.75, Qantas 1-8. Brisbane Center, Qantas 1-8, flight level 210.
Qantas 1-8, Brisbane Center. Radar contact. Continue to Moree. 18, contact Brisbane Centre on 130.1. Good day.
130.1, Qantas 18. Brisbane Centre, Qantas 18, flight level 210.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Centre, radar contact, continue to Bowry. Qantas 18, descend via board 4 Alpha to 8,000. Expect ILS runway 16 left approach via tonic transition.
Descend via board 4 Alpha to 8,000. Expect ILS runway 16 left approach via tonic transition. Qantas 18.
Armed. And descending from 21,000 down to 4,000 feet. Our brakes set to low. We should be passing over the Sydney Opera House on our descent down into Sydney. ATC told us to descend to 8,000, put in 8,000 feet. Down in the next, I'd say, 20 minutes. So we hope you enjoyed the flight. The flight from Brisbane to Sydney. We're coming on to the descent phase. If you have any plans on where I should fly to next, let me know. Sydney. The next flight I have planned in Australia will be from Perth to Adelaide. After that flight from Perth to Adelaide will be a long-haul flight. Next long-haul flight I have planned after the flight from Adelaide to Perth will be from Milan to Qatar. Flying from Milan, Spain to Doha, Qatar. Up past 13,000. So look forward to those next two flights I have planned in the future. Next flight I have planned in Australia will be from Perth to Adelaide, and then flying Qatar Airways, flying from Milan to Doha. landing lights will be turned on. Currently descending down to 8,000. We'll cruise at 8,000 feet until we reach the waypoint of Tunic. Then descend to 4,000, then 1,700 at Renum.
Going to 125.7, Qantas 18. Brisbane Center. Qantas 18 is at 10,300, descending 8,005 door for Alpha arrival.
Alright, QNH set to 1017. Landing lights on. Off around 8,000 feet. Speed brakes. Down. 8,000 should see the Sydney Opera House on our way down. And once we cross the waypoint of Boree, we descend down to 4,000 feet. Catch the glide slope at Renam at 1700. As it's hard to make out, but we got another flight way off in the distance. VR flights. Should be touching down in Sydney in about, I'd say, 15 minutes. Flight planned later in the evening, flying from Adelaide to Perth. Next long-haul flight I have planned will be from Milan to Doha.
Jetstar 753, descend and maintain 2500.
Descend and maintain 2500, Jetstar 753.
Qantas 18, traffic is 9 o'clock, 4 miles, at 9900, Beechcraft. Report them in sight.
Qantas 18, traffic in sight.
Should be seeing the skyline of Sydney very soon. past that time frame. We will be landing very soon. Again, look forward to the next flight I have planned later in the evening as I fly from Adelaide to Perth. Again, for that flight, I'll be using this aircraft again, the A320. I might use A320 again, or I might use the 737.
Qantas 18.
I should be switching over to Sydney approach very soon.
Qantas 18, Brisbane Center, QNH 1017. Radar contact, continue. Qantas 18.
133.8. Qantas 18. Melbourne Center. Qantas 18. 8,000.
Qantas 18, Melbourne Center, QNH 1017. Radar contact, continue.
Back, but ATC told me to descend to 8,000 feet. I'm really cruising 8,000 feet. Let's zoom out the map a little bit. Once we get to the waypoint of Biru, to descend down to 4,000 feet. Going dial in 4,000. Have that ready when we need it. Get a nice view of the Australian wilderness.
contact Sydney approach on 124.4. Good day.
124.4 for Qantas 18.
Guys, we'll contact Sydney approach.
Sydney approach, Qantas 18, 8,000.
Qantas 18, Sydney approach, QNH 1016. Radar contact. Continue.
1016. Descending down to 4,000. Both signs set to auto. Landing lights are on. Taxi lights. Behind us. On the radar right there. Sydney is directly in sight. At 4,000 feet, localizer will be engaged.
Qantas 18,
And we should-
climb and maintain 7,800.
And we should see the Sydney Opera House.
Climb,
Ignore that
maintain
instruction,
7800.
climb.
Qantas 18.
Seems like we spot the Sydney Opera House on our way down.
present altitude. Qantas 18.
Now there's Sydney over there. Keep my eyes peeled for the Opera House. There's the Queensland Bridge right there.
Qantas
Tower on 120.5 when inbound.
Descend to 1700.
Tower on 120.5. Qantas 18. Sydney Tower. Qantas 18.
Qantas
14
18,
miles
Sydney
north.
Tower.
Inbound
QNH 1016.
Flight
Cleared
systems
ILS
on.
runway 16 left approach.
Localizer engaged.
Cleared ILS runway 16 left approach. Qantas 18.
That localizer has been grabbed. Approach on. There's Sydney in all its glory. Still not seeing the Opera House yet. Hard to find it from this area.
2,500.
We might not see the. Oh wait, there it is right there. You can make it out. There's the Sydney Opera House right there, on the other side of the Queensland Bridge. Opera House.
Qantas 18, wind 257 at 17, cleared to land runway 16 left.
Alright.
Clear to land runway
Flaps 1.
16 left. Qantas 18.
The brakes armed. Flaps 2. Glide slope to grab. Alright, flaps 3. Get that out. Get a view at Sydney as we come in. There's the Opera House right over there. Flaps 3. Glide slope has been grabbed. They're down. Flaps 4.
1,000.
Sydney Tower, all Nippon 890 at runway 25 ready for departure. IFR to Tokyo. Cleared for takeoff runway 25. All Nippon 890.
Sydney Tower, Qantas 435 ready for departure. Runway 25, IFR to Melbourne.
300.
Qantas 435 hold short runway 25. Traffic is
control.
Boeing B787 on the runway.
Minimum. 100. 54 to 30.
Hold short runway 25, Qantas 435.
Touchdown.
Sydney Tower, Qantas 435
First
ready
thrust.
for IFR departure. Runway 25.
Qantas 435 hold short runway 25. Traffic is Boeing B787 on the runway.
Down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sydney.
Hold short runway 25, Qantas 435. Sydney Tower,
Flaps up.
Qantas 435 ready for IFR departure, runway 25.
Got the runway
Qantas
here.
435, hold short runway 25. Traffic is Boeing B787 on the runway. Qantas 18, contact ground on 126.5.
Make our way to our gate.
Qantas 435, line up and wait.
126.5. Qantas 18.
Qantas 435, QNH 1016. Cleared for takeoff
Throttle
runway
power.
25.
Flaps are up.
All Nippon 890 contact Sydney departure on 123.0.
Contact Sydney ground. West taxi to parking.
Sydney ground. Qantas 18. Request taxi parking.
Qantas 1E. Taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Tango Sierra Bravo 10 Charlie cross runway 25 Charlie Charlie 2 Golf.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Tango, Sierra Bravo, 10 Charlie cross runway 25, Charlie Charlie 2 Golf, Qantas 18.
Main lights off. That's on taxi. Brakes down. Australia. The flight from Brisbane to Sydney just landed here in Sydney. And look forward to the next one I have planned. It will be from Adelaide to Perth. Down just a little bit. Make sure we're not going too fast. Does have a area on their taxiway. I wonder if they fixed it in the last update. Let's see, did they fix this one part of the taxiway? But it still has that the bump right here.
Qantas 18.
Hold position. Qantas 18.
What? Big dip right there. That dip right there.
18. Continue taxi.
Hold position. Qantas 18.
The airline's down there waiting to take off. Gate over there. Brake set. Complete AP starting. Seatbelt signs off. Go and connect the jetway. Door open. Welcome to Sydney, Australia. Hope you enjoyed the flight from Brisbane to Australia, to Sydney. Alright, fuel pumps off. Engines 2 and 1 shutting down. Again, thank you for flying. Hope you enjoyed the flight and look forward to the next flight I have planned later tonight. Flying from Adelaide to Perth. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for watching. Have a great night. I'll see you in the next stream.